Singapore has reported 16 community COVID-19 case infections, the highest in more than 9 months. 8 are linked to a nurse who works at Tan Tock Seng Hospital, one of the city's biggest medical facilities. No visitors are allowed into the hospital wards until further notice. All close contacts are under quarantine while staff are being tested as a precaution. Gwyneth Teo joins us live from outside the hospital. Gwyneth, has the hospital been completely closed off?
The hospital is not completely closed off to visitors. Only ward visitors are not allowed to enter the hospital. But of course, as you mentioned, this is one of the largest hospitals in Singapore. It serves over 1 million residents in the central region of the entire country and has over 1,700 beds just here. So, not allowing visitors to come and see their loved ones is quite a big impact. And of course, we did see that play out over the past day. Last night, the hospital at 11:30 p.m. Said that it would only allow 2 visitors per patient. This morning, when visitors came, they ran into unusually large queues for visitor registration. And by noon, the hospital had changed its mind and decided that it would not be allowing any visitors at all to the wards. And those who were already in the building were asked to leave by 3 p.m., cutting short, of course, the amount of time that they could spend with their loved ones. And of course, we also heard from some of the visitors that we managed to speak to that some of the other plans were also put into disarray.
It's a bit unlucky because actually he was supposed to transfer to the community hospital today, but it was postponed because of this thing, so she just missed that transfer. Yeah, because I was told that all the community hospitals are not taking in transfers from Tan Tock Seng at the moment. I mean, for precaution's sake, yeah.
And for all other services, however, they still remain open. In fact, if you were at the medical center this afternoon, that's where outpatient specialist clinics are. The pharmacy is also there. It was completely bustling, in fact, lots of people going in and out. And we did speak to some people who said they were concerned at first whether they should come to the hospital for their appointments today. But after giving the hospital a few calls, they were reassured that it was in a completely different block from the ward block, and therefore there was very little chance of the infection spreading over. And with those reassurances, they came to the hospital for their appointments.
And what other measures are being taken to prevent further spread in the hospital?
Well, we know that the immediate ward that the nurse works in, Ward 9D, has been completely locked down from last night. The patients are quarantined, isolated. The close staff contacts of that nurse as well have been placed on leave of absence, so they're not actually at work at this moment. And also another additional precaution is that, what you're seeing behind me is actually the main ward building of Tan Tock Seng Hospital, and everybody in this building, every staff in this building is going to be swabbed or has already been swabbed as a further precaution. We are looking towards the authorities to see if there will be further measures put into place, not just at this hospital perhaps, but other public hospitals as well. There are few things of note of this case here, of this cluster here in Tan Tock Seng Hospital. The National Centre for Infectious Diseases, that's where most of the COVID-19 cases have been housed, is actually part of this hospital. That's one thing. This cluster also does involve frontline healthcare workers who have, been vaccinated already, and the infection has actually spread to patients. So definitely there are lots of key things of note here. It's also been now attached to the largest rise in community cases in the past 9 months in what has mostly been a fairly smooth sailing pandemic for Singapore. So definitely we want to know what's going to be done next moving forward to make sure that the infection doesn't spread further and cause more problems for Singapore.
Many thanks. Gwyneth Teo speaking to us from outside Tan Tock Seng Hospital in Singapore. Most of the other community cases are family members of the immigration officer at Changi Airport who tested positive on Tuesday. The 7 are under quarantine.